witches back from the dead. We are the flow, we are the flow, we are the weavers, we are the web, we are the flow, we are the flow, we are the witches back from the dead. We are the flow, we are the flow, we are the weavers, we are the web, we are the flow, we are the flow, we are the witches back from the dead.
Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we dance, joining hands we dance, joining souls rejoice. Under the full moonlight we dance, spirits dance, we.
Well, hello folks, welcome back, Open Pagan Church. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to start our broadcast out with a little bit of a reminder that at the end of each Sunday, when we do Open Pagan Church, I poked through the pagan news sites, and I have some that I think that you all might find rather interesting. I'll share those with you at the end of the broadcast. Also, if you have any events going on in your area, send them to me, whether they're Dallas area, in the state of Texas, or wherever, anywhere in the world that you might watch our broadcast and our pre-recorded shows. Be more than happy to share those, share that news or share those events with you. Morning, Jimmy. So again, that's at the end of each broadcast. I'll give a shout out to some of the groups and websites and what have you that we're associated with, any pagan news that may have come about, and the sites where I get that information. It's a good thing to keep up with the news. People would probably disagree, but we need to know what's going on in the world. So, that being said, that actually does lead us up to our topic for the day. And I'm trying to read what I wrote. Can one communicate without listening? Well, the week that I wrote this, and understand I wasn't on last week because I had a very abscessed tooth. I picked on my daughter. I said, "Why did you hit me in the face?" Of course, left side of my face was all swollen up like an egg. To which I got the resounding, "Dad, you know." So when I wrote this, it was an extreme week of people asking questions. And when you answer those questions, and I'm sure anyone out there that listens to our broadcast and don't have experienced this. Someone will ask you a question. How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, then when you tell them, they're so busy telling you how to do it that they can't listen to you on how to fix it. Or they're spending all of their time telling you you're wrong. People ask you, what is this? What is that? How does this work? How does this come about? And they're too busy telling you you're wrong when you're trying to give them the answer that they need. Maybe not what they want, mind you, but the answer that they need. So can one communicate without listening? Well, no, you can't. And, many of you know how I am about definitions. The very definition of communication is interactively talking or chatting, writing back and forth, whether it be email, PM, IM, all of the other thousands of forms of communication that we have nowadays. How are you going to communicate if you're too busy talking? Now, some would say, but if I don't talk, how am I going to communicate? You can communicate in a multitude of different ways. Ask a question and then shut up and listen. Go out in Mother Nature. Ask your spirit guides a question. And then something so many humans are not capable of, shut up and listen. You can't ask for prayers. You can't ask spirit for answers if you're blindfolded in your own path, in your own way. Or if your ears are wide shut. If you can't listen, why bother asking the question? So can one communicate without listening? No, you can't. It's always been my experience that, like I say, if you're too busy talking, you can't listen. Watching our broadcast, people will see from time to time I will just stop and read what's scrolling over in the chat. Because I want to read what people have to say. Good morning. I want to read what people have to say. I want to hear what people have to say. It's one of the big reasons I really miss doing interactive Open Pagan Church back when we had the circle and we met every Sunday morning. And we just started a conversation around the circle. Well, judging by the numbers, there are 100 or so people that watch our broadcast in a combined number of all of the different social networks that we post on. Of course, I guess expecting people to get up at 9:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning when we are Central Time. That means on the East Coast. East is behind me. On the East Coast, that would be 8:30. On the West Coast, that would be 10:30. I would think they would be up. Yeah, probably not. But we have to be able to listen. And how do you listen to what's not there, you might ask? That requires some practice. It does. Being able to sorry, got tangled up in my own hair. Being able to listen to what's not there, is it really not there if you're listening to it? Boy, that'd be a perplexing question, wouldn't it? If it's really not there, how can you listen to it? But is it really not there? How many people listen to the voices in their head? I don't recommend you listen to the ones that tell you to go harry carry and kill a bunch of people. If you're having those, you might reach out for some help somewhere. Yeah, because those are dangerous. But the voices in your head that work with you, your conscience, if you will, your conscience, your spirit guide, whatever spirits you walk with, whatever gods or goddesses you may walk with. If you're so busy being angry at the things that you don't have, and I'll talk about one of my triggers here in a minute. But if you're so busy being angry about the things that you don't have, or the things that you can't find, the things that you can't get, or the things that you just simply can't do, then you're not going to be able to listen to the things that you can do. Sometimes we need an expert opinion. Yeah, well, Jimmy, I agree with you, but who's an expert? Not me. The only thing I have is experience, things that I've experienced through the years and witnessed for myself, if you will. One thing I will never do is claim I am expert. But I think that if we work with other people and we ask the question, whatever your question may be, some will say, well, Don, what is the question? I don't have that for you. You have to come up with your own question. But then you have to know how to ask it, don't you? The universal question of what am I supposed to do now? I've done that many times. Sitting there just completely wound up and down on myself and down on the world, and think everybody, I'm just thinking that the world is out to piss on me. I end up not hearing the very spirit guides that are trying to help. And it may not be. Here's another thing. It may not come to you like a text. It may not come to you in an email. I doubt very seriously Spirit will leave you a voicemail. But it may simply come as a simple nudge, just a minute split thought, a phrase or a sentence in the way back of your head that says, you're really not that bad a person. You're really not that screwed up as you think you might be. I talk to people all of the time that have convinced themselves they're useless, they're selfish, they're self-centered. Okay, they may be selfish, they may be self-centered, but I doubt that they're useless. Good-hearted people that are good people at the core are generally the people that are the hardest on themselves. I find that a lot, most especially here recently. I find that a lot when people are doing the best thing that they can to help others and to do the right thing, whatever that may be in your part of the world. But that's where it comes down to being able to just pay attention. Look at the little things. We always say it's the little things that screw us up. We always say it's the compiling of the toothpicks, if you will, that will break a pickup. Old saying, when I was growing up, I'm all out of toothpicks. Yeah, well, all out of toothpicks means that if you've loaded a vehicle down so much, or a trailer or a truck down so much, even with toothpicks, it'll eventually break it because the weight will be just more than you can handle. But when that happens and you're all out of toothpicks and the stress has gotten to you and you're running around like Chicken Little, hollering, help me, help me, help me. But if you're not listening and you're not communicating with the people that want to help you, like Jimmy said, sometimes we need an expert opinion. Well, you're right. But how do we hear that expert opinion if we're too busy using certain terms such as but I, what about, but maybe, but. If you're reaching out to an expert for help and you're too busy making excuses, how are you going to hear anything they have to say? And something I have seen a boatload of people do, especially over the last 10 plus years. I've had people come to me and say, look, I need some spiritual counseling. I need some guidance. Okay, what you got going on? Well, all of a sudden, this thing goes off, and they're sitting there completely lost track of what they were talking about, and they go, did you not just come to me and say, I need advice, I need guidance, I need spiritual counseling? Yes, but I have to answer this. No, you don't. This is for you, not for that. So take that and either hand it to me, I'll put it in a drawer, or turn the damn thing off. Now, you want to give somebody anxieties. You want to give somebody complete and utter anxieties. Tell them they have to turn this off for 2 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week. Tell them they have to turn all of their devices off. Social network, email, chatting, video chatting, whatever. For 2 hours a day, they have to put it down and they can't answer it no matter what. Yeah, that will toss a whole lot of people smooth over the edge. Clint, I think you're right. I know I completely agree with you. He says, or maybe someone else just needs a little nudge, right? They may, like he says, they may already be on the right track. They just don't know it, or they refuse to see it because they're too busy winding themselves up to listen or to see what's right in front of them. Vape alert. So, you think about it. If we're so busy chattering and we're so busy talking, we can't listen. We have no ability to listen. Now, a lot of my guys at work, they get tickled because I have 3 headsets that I listen to. And some people might be, how the hell do you do that? Well, this is my cell phone Bluetooth. At work, it stays hooked on my phone because I have site techs that call me all the time. I have my headset in this ear that goes to my work computer, and I have the same one here on my home work device. All right, this is my headset for my home work device. This is my headset for my work from home computer. It's the same exact one I use at work. So in the left ear, I have my news programs and what have you that are playing at a very low volume in the background just to kind of keep that part of my brain calm. And the right ear, I have nowadays multitudes of calls coming in, rolling back to back to back to back to back. So I have the news or my programs. Sometimes it may be history or discovery or DIY channel or HGTV or something like that, playing very low in the background so that I've got something to break the what I call the bottleneck concentration, where you get so honed in on something you can't see what's going on around you. And I have the phone, my work phone, in the other ear. And some are like, how can you listen to that and listen to that at the same time? Sometimes I don't. One part of my brain is listening to this, the other part of my brain is listening to that. I trained myself to do this very early on. And I did want to kind of share this with you because you can do the same. You can train your human mind. It's a wonderful thing, this human mind, this thing we have called a brain. Even stupid people have a brain. They just don't use it. That's why it's stupid. They know better and they do it anyway. Or they know better and they don't do it anyway. I forget this shirt has sparklies on the camera. See? And it's funny because the more I scratch it, the more sparkly it gets. And I keep thinking I have something on my shirt and have to wipe it off. But yes, you can know that, or excuse me, you can be on the right track and not even know it because you're not taking the time to listen or to stop or slow down and just look at what's going on around you. Or, in the same respect, you can be completely, totally on the wrong track, headed towards the wrong place at the wrong time, setting out to do the wrong thing, and you are so needle point focused on that little bitty point of light that you're not seeing anything else outside of you. You're not seeing anything else outside of what's going on with that little tiny needle point of light out there somewhere. I do it. We all do it. It is a natural human thing to do it. The idea, like I said a while ago, is to train yourself out of it. If you're having trouble training yourself out of it because you don't know how to start, reach out to somebody that you know is able and has trained themselves or been trained how to look outside of that little point of light, how to open up that needle point so that you can see the bigger picture. I kind of helped myself because some years back we had an actual grove of a bunch of trees and um, squirrels and wildlife and what have you, and I would go sit out, just sit. Um, Cell phone would be turned down. I would have no music playing in the background. Everybody's like, "Why don't you have music playing?" I have music. I have the music of the mother. I have the squirrels, the birds, the trees, the wind blowing through the trees. And I trained myself to listen. Yep, I have hearing problems. Yep, I'm tone deaf. But I have communicated with people that are legally deaf that have told me that they have the ability to listen through feeling. I've talked to quite a few meditators that plug their ears and they'll go out in the woods and they'll sit down on the ground and meditate. They will listen through their other senses. They'll listen through the sense of smell, through the sense of feel from sitting on the ground. So there are multiple ways to listen, to communicate and never say a word. But if we are so busy talking, then we're never going to hear anything anyone else has to say. We're not going to be able to hear Mother Earth. We're not going to be able to hear the wildlife. The only thing we hear now, most of us as humans, is traffic. Cars going down the road. Depending on where you live, that's pretty much all you're going to hear. Traffic, cars, horns honking. people screaming at each other. But you can't communicate without listening. And it's a known fact. You can't. You can't listen to Mother Earth and communicate with Mother Earth, because if you listen, she'll tell you what she needs. You should be able to see and feel, hear and sense the things that are going on around you. And the only way that's going to happen is if you can slow down long enough to make it happen. Clint says he's learned to listen to block everything else out and listen to the mother. It can be done. Like I said, I'm not the only one that can do it. There are a number of practitioners out there, young and old. I mean, you don't have to be old and gray and having done this for over 20 something years. Being able to tune everything else out and just listen. It's able to be done just simply by humans. You know, let's take a look. Let's think about kids today. Kids today, when they're playing a video game, or they're on these things, or they're on a tablet, or they're on a video game on the TV, they have absolutely no clue there is a world going on around them, whether they have headphones in or not. And it doesn't matter anything else that goes on around them except for that needle point focus. We have to work with the children of today to teach them, even though you're playing with our multitude of digital devices, even though we've got all of these multitude of digital devices, we need to remember where we came from, who we came from, and most importantly, what we are a part of. Every human being on this planet is a part of Mother Earth. And when the body we're in now ceases to function, ceases to exist and dies, as it were, whether it be through cremation or burial, we will turn back into dirt. It's just a fact of the way things are. So I guess all in whole, you can't truly communicate without listening. You can't listen to spirit if you're too busy talking. You can't listen to loved ones if you're too busy talking, trying to impress yourself and impress others, or talking about how good you are to build yourself up so that you feel better about yourself, that you're incapable of listening to anything nice that anybody might have to say about you. Just think about that. The interesting part is, this is all I have on this topic. It really is. If anybody has any comments or thoughts or ideas for other topics, we'd like to know. Absolutely. We want your comments. We want your likes and your dislikes. And those of you that are just coming in, the topic is pretty much over. But just remember, if you're so busy talking, you're so busy, running off the mouth, you can't listen to anything that's going on around you. You can't listen to spirit. You can't listen to anyone else. So think about that. So what I'd like to do now is move into the events portion, if you will, of Open Pagan Church. I haven't seen any events looking through the different pages that I'm going to tell you about here in a minute. But I do want to tell you some of the, I want to share with you guys globally, okay, some of the pages that we are associated with and that we pay very close attention to in the pagan community. Okay, I'm not going to be looking at the camera, so I'll come back if there's any post or anything. But I want to share these pages with you. I'd like to start with Dallas. Shout out to Dallas area pagans. A real good friend of ours is the founder of Dallas area pagans. Really, really good fella. Then a direct subsidiary of House of Pagans and Open Pagan Church is the Circle of Liberty down south in Liberty, Texas. Then we have our little group here, for which we really haven't found a whole lot of people that are out of the closet, as it were. I'd like to see some more people here in Princeton, Texas, coming out of the woodwork and searching for pagans in Princeton, Texas. Then, of course, there is the Beaumont Group, which is also a direct subsidiary of House of Pagans and Open Pagan Church, is House of Pagans Empower. They are located in Beaumont. Now, here's a couple of real good news sites. A couple of really good news sites. One of them is a Facebook site. It's called Pagan News Network. Now, if you miss any of these, right? If you miss any of these at all, you can rewind it and go back and search Facebook for some of these sites I'm telling you about. But this one is called Pagan News Network. It's a really nice little site. They put all kinds of things out there about what's going on with Mother Earth, what's happening with the whales, what have you. One of the other really good sites I just found this morning, I'm going to be checking them out. It's called Pagan Tama. That's Pagan, Pagan Tama. It's Pagan Tama Musings of a British Shinto Pagan. And their headliner, now this headliner is from back November 23rd, 2018. Pagans and Shinto news, witches outnumber Presbyterians in the U.S. worldwide media. And they've got some really nice pictures, some really nice news links. Of course, we're not affiliated with them. I just found them. I'm probably fixing to join their newsletter. So, you guys should really, if you're in these different areas, down in Liberty, Beaumont, in Dallas, or in Princeton, there's also a Pagans of McKinney site, I think, that you can check out. Um, Robert says, "Woot woot." Yeah, he'll be the founder of Dallas area pagans. Right. Very good, very nice young man. Gets a little wiry at times, but gotta love him. So there's a shout out to some of the groups that we're associated with, and we like to look around and pay attention to what's going on in the pagan community. And most especially, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to your world news. Your global news, especially in this day of connectivity, is an absolute must. You need to know what's going on globally. You need to know what's going on with Mother Earth. After all, if you're too busy talking, you can't listen, which means you can't communicate, which means, well, you're lost. I do want to, as always, thank you for watching Open Pagan Church. If you have topics, look through our past topics. If you have a topic you want to talk more about and you're actually going to be here to talk about it, send it to me in a post. Hey, this topic on this date, I'd like to go over that a little more, and I'd like to have a little bit more of a discussion with you in live chat. Make sure you're here because I will absolutely jump on it. Thank you for watching and listening to Open Pagan Church. We hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and we will see you next week right here on Open Pagan Church. Have a great day.